On behalf of Mayor Frank Justice and the Pikeville City Commissioner, Carter, Chaney, Davis, and Layne, we'd like to welcome everybody here to this groundbreaking ceremony for the Bob Amos Park Horse Trail. This 2.3-mile trail, once completed, will open to the public on horseback or for hiking for the Bob Amos Drive trailhead. And before that we get into the presentation, I'd also like to recognize a couple of special guests. Our County Attorney, Keith Hall. We appreciate coming today. Keith, thanks so much. Of course, our city commissioners that are here, and a couple of them will be speaking here in a moment, and of course, Representative Leslie Combs. We greatly appreciate you showing. And there's, again, from all of our friends from the Chamber and different organizations, Summit Engineering, and I know there's a few out there that I'm leaving out. From the Ad District, we greatly appreciate each of you coming out today. Plans include a horseback riding ring, which will be completed with a ramp to allow citizens with disabilities to ride a horse. Proximity to the recently constructed Randy Jones Memorial Special Needs Park was a factor in determining this location. Additionally, facilities including a barn to accommodate up to 20 horses, feed, supply, house, signage, picnic tables, and a parking area. This will provide convenient access to recreational opportunities for people of all abilities. It will also be in convenience located near our RV park, multi-use trails, athletic facilities, restrooms, and many more amenities. The Pikeville City Commission was once again successful in securing $160,000 in federal funding through 2 competitive grants. These awards include $100,000 for the Recreational Trail Program and $60,000 for the Land and Water Conservation Fund. The grant will be matched dollar per dollar through the City General Fund on $100,000 thanks to our legislators in coal severance. We thank Representative Leslie Combs, W. Keith Hall, and Senator Jones for once again improving the quality of life of activities for Pike County and Pikeville citizens with this wonderful project. The total cost of this project will be $320,000. Kentucky has the lowest percentage of public lands used in the U.S., and opportunities for outdoor recreation on private lands are decreasing due to landowners' concerns for liability. An estimated 18,500 individuals in Kentucky participate in pleasure riding. According to the 2005 Kentucky study for the American Horse Council, approximately 100,000 horses in Kentucky are used for recreational riding, and approximately 18,500 individuals participate in pleasure riding. Most riders enjoy being in nature and viewing wildlife. In 2002, the Kentucky ranked #1 for nationwide for value of sales on horses and other related animals. Currently, they are Kentucky's #1 agricultural output as an asset of the agricultural industry that accounts for 30% of the Kentucky's economy. According to the study by the American Horse Council, there are an estimated 320,200 horses in Kentucky. As such, significantly impact Kentucky's economy. According to KEEP, this economic impact is approximately $4 billion annually. The entire industry provides an estimated 100,000 jobs, over 14,000 or 14% of which is tourism. On the tourism side of this business. The average trail rider takes about 11 trail ride trips in a specific site each year, traveling 132 miles round trip. 8 of these trips are day trips, the rest being overnight camping trips, spending 2.8 nights of camping on site, of which is prepared with the new city, we are prepared with the new city's RV site. Fall is the preferred season for both the day and the overnight trips. The average total cost is $105 per visit one way. The majority of trail riders who camp nearby spent nearly $35.50 per night for RV stays. Hotel stays average about $64 per night. The average length of time to get to a site is about 1.5 hours. Those individuals, which will be more than willing to spend an average of 21 hours per year volunteering to maintain the trail site. An average of $845 is spent per average per year per trail rider to the specific locations. Though these statistics, and by offering more attractions and activities by and for our community, enhance our community and park system. This is just one of many projects that has enhanced the Bob Amos Park and our community while diversifying our economy through this investment in tourism. Over the past 5 years, the City Commission has invested a lot of time, energy, and resources in making this a model park for the entire state of Kentucky. Some of the additions include, but are not limited to, the 5-mile multi-use cross-country trail, the cut-through overlook cage, multiple new shelters and new restrooms. They have expanded the tennis courts and resurfaced the walk track, while also investing over $1 million in new soccer field complex that serves Pikeville High School and U Pike. This facility also includes a new bathhouse, concession stand, and dressing rooms. The park was enhanced with a new RV park featuring a full-service concrete patioed area with Wi-Fi, sewer, water, and cable. The Commission also invested in the park with a new basketball courts, playground equipment, and worked with the Hillbilly Christmas in July organization in unveiling the first special needs park of the region. The City Commission also invested funds from creating the home of the Half and McCoy Paintball Arena and River Trails program offering tubing, kayaking, and canoeing on the river. Today's event is just one more step in making Pikeville a premier community for those who work, live, or visit here. I congratulate the Pikeville City Commission on the progress approach in enhancing those they serve. This commission has been recognized all over the state with many accolades and awards. A few of those that I'll mention is recently we were nominated and achieved the honor of being named as there's only one in Kentucky with the famous Pikeville Cut-Through Project. Muscle, Maine also received the Kentucky Travel Industry Top 10 event for the summer of 2012. Half of the McCoy Trails being named also a Kentucky Blue Water Trail through the state by the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife. Only 15 recognized across the entire Commonwealth. The Expo Center was ranked third in the state for sports tourism. Hillbilly Days also received the Kentucky Traveling Industry Top 10 event for the spring of 2012. Cafe on Main was a 2011 runner-up for the Kentucky League of Cities Enterprise Award, as Muscle on Main was a 2010 winner of the same award. Pikeville City Tourism partnered with Pike County Tourism for the Country Music Highway Road of Fame. With this, I mentioned our collaborative effort in working hand in hand with the Pike County Tourism. And I saw Reed sitting up front here, along with all the other members of the Pike County Tourism, in our efforts to work on the Hatfield and McCoy trail system also. When I talk about the river trails, I'm also talking about the guided trail system that you see the bus over here on. So, and just this coming week, we've got 65 senior citizens that the county has worked on bringing from Hazard to doing the trails for the Hatfield and McCoys, which will include staying and eating here within our community. September 24th and 26th, they're working on bringing the Judge Executive Conference, which will be hosted by Johnson County, here for the same tours. November 28th, the Kentucky Department of Travel and Tourism is accommodating, will be accommodated here within our community, writing a blog on tourism in Pike County within the region. Recently, KET also did a story on tourism and all these initiatives that are going on in both the city of Pikeville and Pike County through, again, our cooperative effort between both the county tourism and the city tourism. So we're grateful for that relationship, along with all the other things that have been accomplished for our community over the past several years. So again, on behalf of Mayor Justice, by the way, who cannot be here, he had a incident at he's a coal miner as well. He runs a mine operation. He had a major incident that occurred there that he had to take care of. He will be here. He said he may be a little bit late, but he'll definitely be at the work session today. So with all that said, what I'd like to do is now turn over the microphone to the Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioner Jimmy Carter. Jimmy?
Thanks, Donovan. I don't know what I can back up with that. You took out here, you might as well take that. I don't need I guess the biggest thing I really want to emphasize is when we first started talking about tourism, and in the last 4 to 6 years, probably since I've been on the commission, is to ask Donovan and all the commission have said to him, you know, we want to try to build on the economy around here and try to get tourism back to where it needs to be. Not that we really had a big part of tourism here, but we wanted it to be more. You know, when we ask him that, I mean, see what's around us right now. I mean, I think we've fulfilled that dream a little bit, and we've still got ways to go. But Melanie Stevens, our grant writer, can't say enough about her. I mean, she's at it every day looking for money that we can get. You know, $160,000 of this project came from grants that she found that's not costing the city any money. So hats off to Melanie Stevens as well. You know, with all the different tourism pieces that we have in place right now, bringing in these conventions, I know talking to even some of my corporate people, the people I work with, looking for regional meetings, they're looking at Pikeville now, which, you know, 5 years ago they would have laughed at us because we just didn't have anything to do, any hotels, in the whole, you know, bringing everything all together. So I think the vision that this commission and the mayor has taken to make this park one of the best parks in the state, I would just have to say, with all the different entities we have going on here, it's pretty nice to see. That's pretty much all I've got. I was going to ask Commissioner Chaney. He wanted to make a few comments as well. So, Barry Chaney.
Thank you, Jim. You know, in 1984, there was an actress named Clara Peeler. She appeared in a commercial, and then she went into a restaurant called the Home of the Big Bun, and she bent over and she picked the bun up and she looked at the salesman and she looked at him and she asked this question: "Where's the beef?" And you know, that became a catchphrase that caught on all across the country, even used in the halls of Congress. But you know, today in Kentucky, southern West Virginia, western Virginia, when you say "where's the progress," just like in those days, everybody knew what restaurant she was talking about. When you say "where's the progress today," everybody points to Pikeville. Everybody references Pikeville, because we have progressed. This commission has demonstrated that its ability to think out of the box, to bring innovative ideas to this community, to make this community more competitive throughout the state, is just unprecedented. We have demonstrated that we are not afraid of progress, and we're going to continue to progress. I think that's one thing we've committed ourselves to. And this horse trail is a perfect example of enhancing all the amenities that our people have wanted and have wanted to be a part of. As Donovan said, the 18,500 people that ride pleasure horses in Kentucky, a lot of those people are here in eastern Kentucky. They live in this 50-mile service zone that we service, the 245,000 people. A lot of those people are horse riders, and we're looking forward to having many of those people come to Pikeville and ride on the Bob Amos Trail. But not only that, that brings more people to Pikeville. More people will see the value of Pikeville, see the value of this local economy. And I'm looking forward to more people wanting to be a part of it and come and work with us and progress with us and really just push eastern Kentucky forward and not hold it back. So I thank you. I'm glad everybody's here today.
Thank you, Commissioner Chaney. This next person who I'd like to invite up to the podium to say a few words, when you look at, as you were coming up the driveway and you looked at all these initiatives that have gone on in the city regarding tourism, and again our partnership with the county and the chamber and many other facets of business within our community, there's a couple of names that stand above all that, because a lot of the funding that's needed, though it does come from the general fund, a lot of that funding is done through state and local grants. We've got somebody that's in Frankfort almost day in and day out. It doesn't start or end with the session. She's there almost every time that I contact her. She's got a subcommittee meeting or a meeting there representing her community. And when you look at all the things that Representative Combs is involved in, when you look at the Intern Joint Committee for State Government, for Education, Transportation, Veteran and Military Affairs, and Public Protection, she wears a big hat and represents her region extremely well. But it's not only about all those committees that she serves on, but it's also about going to Frankfort and fighting for you and I, and bringing those dollars that you see, all these amenities that we have been able to bring to our community by having her there fighting for those dollars for her district. With that said, I left one committee out, which is not only the reason we invited her here, we invite her to all of our functions because she is such a great steward of our community and represents us extremely well, but she's also the co-chair for the Intern Joint Committee on Economic Development and Tourism. So if you look at all the tourism initiatives, we have a lot of help in Frankfort in taking care of our needs. Along with, obviously, we've got a couple of other representatives, W. Keith and Senator Jones. But with all that said, Leslie, we appreciate you. We'd like to invite you up. Say a few words.
Thank you, Donovan. Appreciate it. Donovan, thank you for those kind words. And he's right. During the session, one of the things that I'm most proud to be involved with is I am the chairwoman. I think I said that politically correct. I'm the chairwoman of Tourism and Energy. And so being here today to unveil this horse trail is something that's very near and dear to me, because that's obviously something I'm very interested in having happen. When Barry was talking earlier and Jimmy were talking about what this city has done and the projects that have developed and, like you said, progress that is taking place, let's start with the city. Let's go into what's happening in Pike County. the explosion from the Hatfield-McCoys. Tomorrow morning, just right along with the opening of this horse trail, tomorrow morning I'll go atop the Pine Mountain in Letcher County, and we will do the ribbon cutting for the Pioneer Horse Trail that goes across Pine Mountain. Earlier today, I just got back from Harlan County, where they are advancing in adventure tourism, and they've really been developing the ATV trails up in there. So, while it starts with the city, it ends with a region, and I think that's something that I work very, very hard on, because I see this region developing tremendously and having a lot to offer. And I think we all know that right here at home. We know that, but we are becoming a major attraction for people all over this country, and not just this country, but internationally, because we have things that people want to come and see. We've got activities that they want to do. And folks, it is amazing where people will come from to do what we have to offer, to see the history that we have. And I'll tell you a time I learned how important this was and how far-reaching that it is. And we couldn't quite get everything as ready as we wanted it to by the time it got here. But when they had the equine Olympics in Lexington a couple of years ago, when they had the international event here, what was interesting was saying that it is nothing for those folks to come from all across the world to Lexington, Kentucky, and to make that 2.5-hour trek up to this part of the world was nothing for them to want to come to see what we had to offer. So that's when it became obvious to me that we need to develop, because people will come from all over to see what you have. And because of that facility being developed in Lexington, they will continue to have those events from now on. They may not be as great as the event that was held a couple of years ago, but they will have some major equine events there in Lexington, and those people will think nothing about driving 2.5 hours to come here and see what we have to offer, because those opportunities exist. So while we're always concerned about economic development opportunities, we are creating economic development. We are creating our own jobs. We're creating our own future for the generation that is to follow us. Now, let me tell you something. We've got some great things to offer. I'm very glad to be a very small part of it. I want to thank the City Council, Donovan, you all, for what you all have done. But what we're adding to the region, because you start from Floyd to Pike to Letcher to Harlan, you come up from the south, from Perry County, we're going to have a niche in this neck of Kentucky, in eastern Kentucky, that is going to be absolutely wonderful. And I guarantee you that going forward, we will have more people than you can shake a stick at coming our way to do the activities that we have to offer them, and to come see the beautiful sights and the wonderful people that we have to entertain the people from all over. I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad you all are a part of it. And I just think great things are to come. Thank you.
Leslie, thank you very much. And it is definitely about we and not about me. And that's been the motto of the commission for some time. I spoke earlier about relationship with Reed. Reed and I sat back when we were talking about the Hatfield-McCoy Trail and how we can enhance the trail overall for both the county and the city. And all those names that I mentioned to you about all those folks coming into our community from throughout the region, again, is done through our partnership. It's done through us having the ability and the county marketing those opportunities. So it is a wonderful partnership. It is about, again, getting the word out as to all these great amenities that we have to offer. But I say again, we've got great representatives here before us that do that for us. So we greatly appreciate them. We're going to move over to the sand here in just a second to actually do the groundbreaking, but I've got two city commissioners. If we got about 3 minutes left, if either one of y'all want to say anything, you're welcome to come up. If not,
yeah, I do.
I knew better than that.
First speech I ever made, I was 4 years old. I got up and said, I'm up here to make a speech, but I'm so little I can't, so I'm going to sit down. And I've heard enough from these people. I agree with every word I've heard. And I'm just proud to be a citizen of Pikeville and Pike County in the state of Kentucky. Go Bears, go Cats. Oh, and by the way, go Panthers.
we've still got a couple minutes. Go right ahead.
Get on the feet here. I just want to say one thing about horses, since we're here about horses today. I knew about horses before I knew about cars, and that's a little bit to do with my age. I was born in 1932 in Pike County, Kentucky, and my dad left Kentucky in '37 and ended up with a job in the coal mine at Patterson, Virginia, and 2 years later he was able to start a general store. So I was pumping gas when I was 8 years old. But anyway, people even up until the 50s came from the mountains on their horses to buy feed and things to take back on the mountain. And they would bring a horse, and you'd put the bag of middlings across the horse's back, and he'd lead it home. So when Jeeps came in to being, the first civilian Jeep, my dad bought one. So we started taking orders on a Tuesday and delivering on a Thursday. And Dad made a big business out of that deal because that's the only way these people on the mountains could get their products. But anyway, the horses, I can remember when there was no way to get anywhere without a horse. And you walked a lot of places you went. And I'm so glad to see this Kentucky's about horses. I'm really pleased to see we're taking our part. We're going to do our part to advance horses in this area. And thank you all for being here. Enjoyed talking to you.
Thanks, Alice. We've got about 2 minutes before we are getting ready to throw some sand over here. We've got a great relationship, as I've said, with a lot of our county partners working hand in hand and making Pike County and Pikeville progressive. We also have a guest here. I'll invite him if he wants to say a couple words, but our county attorney, Keith Hall, who does a great job working for the citizens of Pikeville and Pike County.
The only time I get on stage, Donovan's if a lot of people don't show up, or a lot of good people like you all get overlooked. It should have been up here instead of me, but I'll take the opportunity. I was in New York City the other day for the first time in my life. I'm almost 50 and never been there. And I was in Central Park, and it's so quiet and reminds you of what we've got here. And I started thinking, this is like Central Park. But Central Park doesn't have a horse trail. So where would you rather be? We have a lot of things here that they don't have. And while I was up there, one guy told me something. We were there in Manhattan. He said, the one thing we don't have is there's nothing here for kids. So we got things for kids here. This is a great town, great community. And I've never fed a horse. I had a horse, I think, when I was real little, but I've never fed a horse except down at Keeneland through the window and on the internet here recently. But this is a great thing. There's only so much more we can do in this county. We're out in the woods now doing things. I think it's great. The city's great. This is a great county, and the surrounding counties need to keep doing business with us, and just the whole hinterland around here. This is just a great county, great day, and I know sometimes we say things about each other. What I like is not only we compete here. We compete to get better. The county competes, and this city, I think, is proud of this county. This county is very proud of this city. It's a great relationship. I appreciate it. And I live about 20 yards from the city, and some of these guys are still talking to me about negotiating something there in my neighborhood. So thank you all.
We're trying to pull them in any day now. Well, again, with that, with all those words said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unveil the trail here, and if I can have a couple of commissioners come up and fold this back. This will give you an idea of where the trail is going to lead. And as soon as they unveil this, and I'd like to again invite our special guest to the sand to grab a shovel, and then I'd like to invite the community to come in and stand in behind them so we can get a couple of pictures.
That's right.
Go to the front.
Good time.
All right. Again, thanks. Get y'all to come out here. Barry? One more time.
Shovel and hold it.
Shovel and hold it. Don't pull your shovel down. Keep it out there. 1, 2, 3. All right.
It's amazing that we're continuing to be at Pikeville continues to build straight up the mountain here. And we don't have a lot of flat land. We're making flat land and using it, But here they're not just using flat land, but actually using land that was has been brought down into the city simply by building roads and access roads through the cut-through up to them. The city of Pike was taking advantage of every square inch of property. It's just amazing. Who would have thought that you would just continue the road right up the mountain, right out, and then when you get to the top of the mountain, come back along the ridge, and then when you get to the end of the ridge, build an overlook, then cut back and build a horse trail back into the mountains. It's just amazing the ingenuity of the people of this area just to continue to make entertainment and valuable things for the people.
Look at this. When you've got the river trails combined with a horse trail, we're slowly but surely beginning to develop ATV trails and hiking trails. When you have all those to offer in one area, or particularly in one region close to one another, it gives people so many opportunities to within a short distance to be able to enjoy the whole area. So it's kind of like having everything you need to make tourism really a dream come true.
Well, this horse trail is all about quality of life. The intent is to expand the park system so that those that work, live, visit here are given the same opportunities that those that are away from here. So if you look over the past 5 years or so at all the dollars that have been contributed to Bob Amos Park for everything from the soccer complex to the walk track to resurfacing to the tennis court resurfacing, basketball trails, or basketball courts, the cut-through adventures, and I could go on and on. But there's been several $1 million invested in quality of life for all of Pike Countyans. And having a horse trail here, which is, again, a leading economic engine for the state of Kentucky, Pikeville and Pike County should be no different. There's a lot of horse enthusiasts in the city and around the city that this trail will cater to. And having a venue where people can get outdoors, enjoy what the good Lord's give us with all this pristine beauty within some of the trails and that we already have, is a great win for the city of Pikeville. It's a great win for Pike County, and it's a great win for our region because what our intent is to diversify the economy, and tourism is over $1 billion, multi-billion-dollar industry for the state of Kentucky, and having every amenity that we can think of that we can pair with our terrain and our community is a great win. It allows us to pull people in for staycations so that people can, whether it's from Lexington, Louisville, or some of the flatlanders as we call them, to pull them into the area. So, the intent is they can go horseback riding one day, they can go four-wheeling the next, to Half and McCoy few, they can get on the river the next day, they can go great YMCA with all those amenities the next, they can do cross-country trail, enjoy again the Half and McCoy riding tour as well. Or the driving tour that the Pike County Tourism has in their possession. So there's a lot of great and wonderful things to do within our community, and then if you look at all the surrounding areas, everything from Jenny Wiley to the falls at Whitesburg to the Breaks Interstate Park. I mean, there are some great amenities in and around Pikeville and Pike County. And obviously we benefit not only by the quality of life that we generate for our own selves, but also as a lure to pull people into our community to hopefully spend a few dollars to help our economy thrive. Okay. Well, what you'll have is with this $320,000 grant, which half of the grant was given to us by the state and federal funds. The other half is part of it's through coal severance. The other part is out of the general fund. But what we'll have is a barn that will be constructed that will have a feed station, have stalls that will be able to house 20 different horses at any given time. We'll have a riding ring with a handicap accessible, special needs accessible ramp. So again, we're catering to all walks of life. So again, if you have a horse, if you've got an RV, which a lot of the horse owners do, we have an RV park over the hill that has water, sewer, has a bathhouse, cable, so full amenities. So on top of that, we've got, again, with the park system, you can park your trailer. After you park your trailer, you got an RV park, you can house your horse, and then again, you've got the first phase will be about 2.5 miles, I think it's 2.4 miles of horse trail through some of the most beautiful country that you'll ever see. If everybody's been aware of the old Smoky Blankenship trail system that's been closed down for several years, well, this is where the trail will start. It will link into our cross-country trail, so you can use it as a walking trail as well. So again, what they're going to see is some brisk riding. Some of these elevations are pretty tall, so it's a good ride for those that are enthusiasts. But more important, it's amenities that they'll look for if they're into riding. So it's a one-stop shop for those that enjoy horseback riding.